Hey everybody, Red X Rain here. Welcome back to my Let's Play every Star Wars game ever. Here we are continuing on with 1991's NES version of Star Wars. So last time we left off, here basically in Mos Eisley. Also, this is something I didn't show off last time because there wasn't much to do, but you can actually access this menu and eventually be able to sort of switch characters. Each of the characters has sort of different, well, the ones on the left aren't playable characters. Unfortunately, you cannot play as R2 or C-3PO, but we can do things like change weapons when we have those kinds of playable characters. So I'm going to switch to the lightsaber here, which took me a long time to get used to. It doesn't control great. Is Greedo. Hi, Greedo. And of course, there's the band up there, looking pretty good. You know, it's all right. Oh, okay. And I got distracted and got killed by that enemy, but yeah. So it's really weird. It's like you have to really move forward to make any good use of the lightsaber. It's a very hard control scheme to describe, but it's not great. But it is one. Well, I was gonna say one shot, but it's a hit, I guess. A one-hit kill kind of thing, whereas the blaster, takes some time. And I think I'm taking advantage of the game's little glitchiness here. Yep, that enemy just disappeared. Also, another thing oh, well, let's talk to Han Solo, of course. Yeah. That's right, I am. One thing I don't like about the lightsaber is that well, okay, so I got a lot of thoughts going here. So, of course, now we're playing as Han Solo. As you can see, now we can switch between Han and Luke whenever we want. But I'm going to stick with Luke for now. But one thing I don't like about the lightsaber is the swoosh sound. I mean, the sound is okay, but it actually cuts out the music. Try and be... Yeah, so this is something that would happen on some NES games. I know one of the Mega Man games has this problem. What's the one with, the supercharger? I think is it Mega Man 3 or 4? And, because the NES has only so many sound channels, music can sometimes get cut off by other sounds. It prioritizes sound of one channel over another. And I like the music in this game. Oh, come on, I was right at the end. Great, okay. Get to do that all over again. Oh, that was just a stupid mistake. I should not have... Oh my god. Okay, so here we go. This is the first time I died. They're pretty generous with the continues here, thankfully, so yes, we will continue. Okay, and I already have Han Solo. I thought it was going to send me back to, the start of Mos Eisley, and I'd have to get to Han Solo again, but I'll take it. So, the game is this is a pretty tough game. Not nearly as hard as the Famicom-only version, Star Wars game that I played, earlier. That game is just unrelenting. This one it's beatable if you know what to do, and I'm not over relying on save states or anything. I don't think it's really. I will admit, the first time I played through it, yeah, I used lots of save states. I was just trying to jump over that guy because I know I can do it, but I'm probably wasting more health trying to jump over them than. Oh, or he's just not going to show up. Oh, he did. Okay. If I could just get out of here, that would be great. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna no save states here. I used save states when I was practicing the game, playing it through the first time. But now that I know what I'm doing, it's not too bad. Oh, I was gonna say something about the sound. So, I like the music in this game. By the way, there's, well, not Boba Fett. I guess it's Boba Fett, but he kind of shows up a couple of times, which is interesting. It's sort of like a standard enemy. Something interesting about I think the way that this enemy is programmed, and I guess I could show you. Basically, well, yeah, here. So if I switch to Han Solo, or even if I switch to Luke with the blaster, he turns into this almost impossible to beat flying enemy. And I think I'm just gonna die. Yeah. So if you have the, what am I doing? I'm trying to get to the select screen here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, I hope that was worth it. Okay. So, one, have the lightsaber out. If you have Han or Luke as having the blaster, it turns into that impossible to beat flying enemy. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of an interesting sort of programming thing for them to do. I think it would be really awesome if he only turned into an impossible to beat flying enemy. If you know, when you were only if you were playing as Han, because that like canonically sort of like makes more sense. Like Boba Fett doesn't have any like real problem with Luke. He's, you know, a bounty hunter for just to try and get to get Han. So that's, you know, that makes sense, I guess. But the sound, yes. So the sound of this game is pretty good. I like this. I think I said it very quickly at the end of the last video. I'm trying to jump over this in case I need to come back for that health. Oh well, that's all right. That yeah, it's sort of an interesting sort of a remix of the Cantina theme. It shows up every once in a while. This might be the first Star Wars game that kind of has its own kind of like unique soundtrack rather than just relying on like, you know, chiptune or 8-bit versions of like, you know, like John Williams' score. Like, yeah, that opens the game for sure, but there's a little bit of they're kind of playing with that a little bit here. And as I was looking up stuff about the game, the composer for this game was oh god, what's his name? Marshall Parker. I think this is one of the first games he ever worked on. He worked on a lot of stuff throughout the 90s and stuff, but I think what he's best known for now is he's the audio director for Assassin's Creed. So, I don't know, just thought that was kind of interesting. But I feel like this just has like that classic, like, Golden Age NES kind of sound to it. This jump is really not that hard, but I'm making it harder on myself than it needs to be. There we go. And I think, yeah, okay. I'm gonna go in as Luke. Because one of the interesting sort of strategic things you can do, if you want, is you can actually switch, like I said, actively between characters. So for some levels that are really hard, basically what you can do is, you know, like I'm at half health now, which is, you know, not too bad, but I can go a little bit longer. But if I'm just about to die as Luke, I can switch over to Han, and he has his own new health bar. So you can kind of, oh, wow, great. That was probably the dumbest thing I could have done right there. There we go. And I should probably switch to Han. I want to make it a little bit further. But how cool is that the music is also dynamic and that it changes now? It's like, I think of this as, I'm sure it has like an official name like on the soundtrack, but I think of this as like Han's theme. And then it kind of, you know, we lose it a little bit later. But it's interesting that when you switch between them, you get unique soundtracks for just a little bit, so sort of dynamic there. So again, I guess that's an example of like, it's not fully originally composed, but composed music, that is. Okay, so up there, as you can see, probably, is a piece of the Millennium Falcon shield. Because there are a couple pieces in here. This isn't too tricky. Okay, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Oh, also, every character has their own sort of unique assets where Han can take a lot more damage, because he's a tough guy, right? But he's very slow, but his blaster is the strongest. So I like playing as Han the most. Usually I don't like playing those kinds of characters. Usually, like in video games, if given the choice, I like really fast characters. And Han is the opposite of that. He's the slowest. He's kind of like the tank character, if you will. Luke is kind of like balanced. Like, his blaster is pretty strong, not too weak. He moves pretty fast, but there is another character. Well, why am I like? I guess it's not a spoiler. So we'll also be able to play later as Princess Leia. Now she is the fastest, but she has the weakest weapon. I think she can jump a little bit further and higher. Again, Han is on the opposite end of that. He jumps like the slowest and least high. So that's kind of an interesting sort of novel idea, I think, to bring to the game, that kind of interplay of characters. I don't think there's ever a point where, like, the game, like, you know, like, oh, you can only make it past, you can only make this jump if you are Princess Leia. I think, even with Han's sort of limited jump, I think you can make all of them if you wanted to. So, like, there's not, like, a specific puzzle element there. And I think everybody has kind of, like, their own way around it, but there are definitely parts of the game that are easier with one character over the other. Classic. Right, so now we enter into, I think this is it. Yes, okay, so now we get kind of a little bit of a borrowed thing from the Japanese version of this game. You know, we get to fly the Falcon. But here we're not actually shooting anything. We're just navigating the asteroid field, which is pretty neat. Also, I'm just noticing, up top you can see the shields. So, apparently I missed one of the shields. I know I got hit a couple times, and I'm continuing to get hit a couple times, but apparently, sorry guys, I missed one of the Falcon shields. Burn it! Burn it all! I'm done! No. Well, I must have missed one in a cave or something. But yeah, this is where the shields come into great, like, unbelievable amount of help. I think if you don't collect any of the shields anywhere, I think they give you, like, one of those bars up there, basically your health bar while you're flying the Falcon. I couldn't imagine trying to beat that with just one health bar. I'm sure it is possible, but you know, I don't know why you'd want to try. It seems like more work. It's not that hard to find even like 3 or 4 of the shields, and then it becomes much more manageable. So I'm going to keep playing as Han here. You know what I should have done is I should have switched back to Luke when I was in the hangar, and I should have gotten that health. That would have been smart. Is the music doing that weird thing again? That was weird. God, Han's gun, his blaster, is so freaking loud. Okay. Okay, so now Luke has no health. So, going back to this screen, so, as you can see, Han's not there anymore, but if we click on Obi-Wan, he can basically revive characters. So now Han is back. I'm not sure exactly how many times you're allowed to do that, but there is a limited amount of times that you can do that. So it's kind of weird how the live system works here. So like when you're playing as Han and later when you play as Leia, they do not collect extra lives. They basically all have 1 life. Luke does collect lives, because Luke doesn't need to be revived by Obi-Wan or brought back to life or whatever force magic that Obi-Wan has. So yeah, so you gotta think sort of, not conservatively like that, I guess, but, again, if you die as Han or Leia, then you're gonna have to know that, then you have to use Obi-Wan to bring it back, whereas, I guess a way of saying it is that Luke's lives are kind of like more expendable in that sort of way, because you always get 3 lives and you get 10 continues. So basically Luke has 30 lives, even if you don't collect any other lives. So the first time you're playing, I guess the recommendation is that you kind of like use Luke to explore, because his lives are kind of like more expendable in that way. Whereas, again, I don't know exactly what the limit is, but, you know, if you revive Han and Leia too many times, you can never revive them again. Like, you cannot collect new lives for them ever. So this is probably the most difficult part of the game, mostly because it's a maze. Let's get Luke his lightsaber here. because this room is a mess. And I'm just gonna run it. Just kind of keep slashing. There's way too much stuff going on in this room. Yes, so we found the computer outlets so we can... I mean, I guess it's supposed to be helpful. But because we have R2 with us... See, now I'm wondering, like, if you don't pick up R2 in the Sandcrawler, if you're allowed to do that, maybe you don't get this? I don't know. But basically, if we wanted to, we can pull up a kind of a map of this area, but it's a really terrible map and it doesn't work at all. It's like even worse than like the maps at the mall. Let's see, switch it over here. Yeah, that's really not helpful at all. But this is where we are, right by the Orange Julius. So it's supposed to be helpful, I guess, but it's really not. And of course, yeah, maze areas are just like the worst, especially sometimes in NES games. Like they're just so convoluted. So we got all these like tubes that take us to different doors, and there's, you know, of course we're looking for one particular door and stuff. But sometimes doors will send you backwards, sometimes they'll send you to dead ends, sometimes they'll send you to areas with like tons of enemies. But I drew out my own map. I'm kind of consulting here to make it a little bit more manageable. Let's get this guy as soon as we can, just jump over him. Not worth trying to fight him. Unless, can Luke? I wonder if Luke can get him with this, like, say, I'm just gonna... I trust my map. I think I know where I'm going. Hopefully I don't double back and have to face that guy again. Alright, this part's pretty rough. Because, again, very, very narrow run-jump platforms, and we don't want to slip off the side. Is that gonna come back? Looks like there's still missiles. Well, maybe not. Okay. That's fine by me. So in addition to, why do I keep forgetting his name? I keep thinking Randall Parker, but Randall Park is that awesome comedian. Marshall Parker, who's the composer for this game and went on to work with stuff. There's a lot of really interesting sort of, like, Star Wars video game / like, LucasArts connections here. A while ago, well, it seems like a while for me, but I think in terms of, like, the video numbering, it probably wasn't. It was probably only, like, 2 or 3 videos ago, but I took a break. Night Shift was kind of, like, one of the first sort of LucasArts games that sort of, like, established itself, like, in the pseudo-Star Wars universe. Go back and watch that if you haven't. I think it's a pretty fun video. But LucasArts and games and everything, very, very new company, relatively speaking, at this point in 91. So there was a lot of kind of like very like, I mean, it makes sense. You know, it's a smaller, newer company, and George, oh wow, that shouldn't have killed me, but apparently it did. Okay, so I'm back here. What am I doing? What was I saying before? Oh, I was just about to say stuff about, people who worked on this game. So, one of the, I think the head producer for this game was Akila Redmire? I'm never quite sure how to say his last name. He was a big player at LucasArts, including actually designing Night Shift. Oh, actually, I should talk about what's going on here, because this is a weird kind of a, not quite a boss fight, but kind of feels like it, I guess. So it's really a matter of timing. So as you can see, like sort of like right above me at the top, there's that kind of like blinking square. So what I gotta do is, it's really a matter of timing, and I guess I'll show first. Shit. Okay. Well, that's not how you do it, by the way. Oh boy, I'm probably gonna use up a lot of Obi-Wan's Force revival powers here. Once you get going, it's not that hard. So you gotta like, okay, there you go. Shoot and drop. And once you're up here, as long as you can keep like holding on to the ladder, it's not that bad, because you don't got to worry about the stuff at the bottom, as long as you just don't fall. And there you go. Not too bad. Once you know what to do. I died like a million times on that, getting used to a pattern. But yeah, so yeah, Akila Redmire, he would work with LucasArts. He, well, actually earlier, like I said, he worked on Night Shift. Speak of Night Shift. I think he either directed or produced that. I want to say produced. Maniac Mansion, which is a great early LucasArts game, a real classic. So that's pretty cool that, you know, sort of keeping it sort of in the family here. And the other sort of like and also Akila Redmire, if you're not familiar, also co-founded Maxis with and sort of all those games, you know, SimCity and everything with Will Wright and everything. So big player in video game history and development and that sort of stuff. But also Kalani Stryker worked on this game, sort of as kind of a. I mean, again, this is still the early days of gaming, so it's kind of like, I don't know, a bunch of people helped. Oh, by the way, here we can rescue Princess Leia. Kind of a weird drawing. I guess it kind of looks like her, but I don't know. So now we could play as Princess Leia if we want, but I don't want to right now because she's not very useful right here. Unfortunately, she's not really useful throughout most of the game. I hate to say it, but for as badass of a character as Princess Leia is, she's not great for this game. Really, and this sounds terrible, but the best use she has is like if you know you're going to take quite a bit of damage and like you just need a little bit of extra life to get to the end of the level, just use her as just an extra life. So yeah, Kalani Stryker worked on this game too. Would go on to work basically on all the Star Wars games to come. All the Super Star Wars games, which are coming up kind of like after this one, would work on the next NES Star Wars game. Worked on Force Commander, I think, was probably the last game they worked on. That was in like 2000 or so. So really stuck to like, not just working with LucasArts, but really sticking to working on Star Wars games in general, which is pretty cool. This is the area that confuses me the most. So many close doors. Maybe did I go down this one already? I think now. Okay, now I think I'm going the right way. That confused me for a long time. I was really getting stuck here because that looks like it should be like that area of black, right? It looks like a wall. Like you shouldn't be able to jump through it, but you have to get to the end. Okay, perfect. All right. So okay, I'm gonna take a break right here. Yeah, so as always, thanks for watching. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. I do always appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time when hopefully I think I'll be able to finish up the game. So until then, may the Force be with you.